I am live. All right. What is up, everybody? Obviously not in Brooklyn. I have a Brooklyn jacket on, but not in Brooklyn. And instead, I am here. Let me make sure I could even hear myself. Can everybody hear me on live? And my flight is going to, after being delayed several times, leave in a little bit here. But I figured why not do a boxing live at an airport. Oh, yeah, it is working. Okay, so. All right, was going to be at Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia's media workouts today, and instead at the Chicago airport, stuck. Don't land in New York until about 4:30, so probably won't be making the workout. Really wanted to see the workout, to see these guys, especially Devin, because I saw Devin work out in the lead up to this fight, but didn't really get to sink my teeth into it. But what's up, Chris Venegas? What's going on, man? I feel kind of weird sitting down having people have to hear me, so I'm going to kind of walk around as I do this for a moment. But yeah, have mixed feelings about covering this fight, guys. I feel a little gross on the inside because I think everyone kind of knows what's about to happen to Ryan Garcia Saturday. We're seeing a young man have a breakdown. It seems like, anything's possible in boxing. He knocks Devin out with a left hook Saturday night, and I'm eating words, and he's one of the biggest superstars in boxing and maybe sports. But yeah, I feel like we are seeing Ryan, have a breakdown in front of us, and I don't have fun in saying that. You never want to say another man is having a mental breakdown, but when you see him partying in New York City the first day he gets there, I saw him in Las Vegas this last Friday. He pulled up at the Nate Diaz, Jorge Masvidal thing, and he just doesn't seem right. I mean, I think that's the universal consensus opinion at this point. So I feel kind of gross because here I am flying out, taking time away from my family to build up content for my channel, content. And if people like me in the boxing media were really, really doing their jobs, and I did ask Oscar De La Hoya last month, should this fight really be going through, back on Fight Hype, asked Bernard the same thing in depth. I questioned Ryan's voice, although I skirted around it. Wasn't out front about it enough. Didn't outwardly just say, I think this guy might be abusing drugs or substances, and that's why his voice is different, and that's why he's acting so erratically. But I'm concerned for Ryan, and I also think that something's in play. Something unfortunate could be in play Saturday night. It's been a while since we had a Andrew Galata, Riddick Bowe moment, Tyson Holyfield. Even Floyd Mayweather's Zab Judah, the fight breaking out into a brawl when Zab got desperate and low-blowed Floyd and then punched him in the back of the head. Just like Roger Mayweather ran in the ring and a brawl started, if Ryan Garcia does what he's been quoted multiple times as saying, he says, I forget biting 1 ear, I might want to bite 2 ears. Or Devin, if you clinch me, I'm going to break your arm. It feels like that kind of bizarre scenario that used to happen a lot in boxing in the 2000s and in the 90s in big prize fights. It could happen Saturday night. And that's not going to be what Devin Haney wants. Devin Haney's going to want a stoppage and a clean victory. But Ryan's already let you know multiple times he may do something crazy in this fight. Again, if he lands the left hook, God bless him for shocking the world. But I just feel like letting Ryan go through in this fight, it's an indictment on all of us, starting with me. Here I am flying out, got to get my content, my grubby content. And it's high level boxing. It's a WBC super lightweight championship fight at the end of the day. So yes, I want to be there. I want to see this fight since it's happening, but I don't even know if it should be happening in the first place. And they just accelerated forward in March and in late February when everybody was basically saying what I was saying. Should this guy even be fighting? And they pushed right along. And so now here we are on fight week. And so from the promoters to the networks to the media ourselves, I feel mixed feelings covering this fight. And I feel like to treat it like just another fight when clearly Ryan Garcia isn't all the way right now is a little irresponsible of all of us. But, this is boxing, the Wild West, so it's not really surprising either. But what's going on? Let me say what's up to everyone. True School Sports, what's up, brother? Said, you live you live at the airport. The channel has went up another level now just on that alone. Keep working, Sean, and everyone make sure you smash the like. I appreciate that. Shout out to True School. We have to finish your 90 days of live tomorrow. What's up, King Eze? What's up, Gustavo Fontalba? Gustavo said, "What's up, Sean? What happened with Fight Hype? Been missing you there. Oh, just things happen, and it was an amazing run there. And I definitely encourage you to keep going to Fight Hype. I do. I'll be going to Fight Hype today since I'm not literally going to be at Gleason's like I planned, but I still want to see the workout. So I'll be on Fight Hype today. So, what's my prediction for the fight? It's definitely Devin Haney. It's just a matter of how do we get there. True School has let it be known that he has the Devin by disqualification. I think that is in play because you have to take Ryan at his word a little bit there when he says he'll bite an ear, he'll break an arm. Some of it might be hyperbole and hype to sell the fight, or he's just telling you what he may very well do in this fight. But I think Devin gets him inside of 12 rounds, and I think for the first 2 or 3 rounds, Ryan's going to be dangerous. And I had a thought to myself about Ryan, who's continuing to let us know he's going to let it all hang out in the first couple rounds of this fight. And that is that even though he's this young man, 25, 26 years old, if he's been partying a lot, if his lifestyle really has been in the fast life in the last year since the Tank fight, then he could be a very, very old 25 or 26, despite the handsome face and the youth. He may actually be, even though he's 25, actually 45 heading into this fight if his lifestyle in the nightlife is what it may appear to be. And so the thought I had was, despite this kid only being 25, 26, he may be ready to empty whatever he's got left in the tank after being an amateur star for almost 2 decades, growing up being this great amateur star and going through all the Hollywood stuff and all the lifestyle choices. He may, in terms of being ready for a fight, may be a very old 25, 26-year-old heading into this fight. And maybe he knows that on a certain level, and he's ready to empty whatever's left. I know that sounds crazy. Whatever's left, he's a kid. Whatever's left in the tank in the first couple rounds. And when that doesn't work, he may have a good moment. He may even drop Devin Haney early. I don't think he'll quite do that. I know my boy Sean Porter thinks that's in play, but I think he'll have some success in the first 2 rounds, and then already by the end of that 3rd round, Haney will begin to gain control. And at that moment, boxing's very hard, so I don't take joy in calling a professional fighter a quitter or anything like that. But Fernando Vargas spoke to me. You guys probably saw the interview last Friday where he said how his old trainer, Eduardo Garcia, used to tell him the first time's the hardest when it comes to quitting. And so I wouldn't be surprised if Ryan, retires on the stool or if he begins to get lit up and picked apart like a surgeon by Devin Haney, and it's getting worse round after round. I don't know how much he's built to just continue to walk through punishment in hopes that he can get off a big hook and change the fight. And so I could see him retiring on the stool, Derek James throwing in the towel, or if he's very brave and continues to come forward while getting outboxed, I think Devin's right hand will be big and will hurt him at some point and can maybe finish the fight, lead to a stoppage. Not a one-punch knockout or anything like that, but you see time and time again over the last 6 weeks, Devin is working on the right hand, sitting on the right hand, the pull right hand, the doubling and tripling up his lead right hand. And if he's picking Ryan apart and we get to the middle and latter half of the fight, I think Devin's going to sit on that right hand in range on the counter. And if Ryan's not giving him anything to counter, I think Devin will pick his gloves up a little bit, pick that lead glove up and step to Ryan and stab him to the body with the jab and try to get him out of there that way. So that's how I see the fight going. But Jesus M says pay-per-view buys will be really bad. Attendance will be low, very horrible. I don't know. I think this fight will make an indent on the casual public because I think people are infatuated with Ryan. Now, to your point, Jesus, that means they may not buy the pay-per-view, but I think everybody's going to be intrigued with what happens. So even if they don't buy the pay-per-view, everyone's going to be jumping on social media. And I still think the pay-per-view buys are going to be relatively strong. They're not going to be in the ballpark of the Tank fight, but I still think these two can get close to 500,000 buys because Ryan is a bit of a crossover star. And he's gotten people from all walks of life paying attention to what's going on. People that don't even normally care about boxing are interested in what is this Ryan Garcia kid talking about and what's going to happen to him. Garcia is going to win in 7 rounds, says Daniel Andrade. Malcolm Emanuel says 325K. That's a realistic number. Tank Jackson says, Sean, I think Ryan will be disrespected by a jab. I mean, I think Devin's jab will be eating him up. I think Ryan will get frustrated with the jab and decide to go all out and run into something big. If he does, credit to him, because that would mean he's still coming forward trying to win the fight. And I think that's what people would rather see is him getting stopped walking into a big right hand instead of some kind of debacle that I hope doesn't happen, but I think is realistically in play for this fight. Basically, he's the Johnny Manziel of boxing. Well, no, I mean, Johnny Manziel had like no success in the pros. Ryan at least, fought for a title, is good enough to get to fight for the WBC super lightweight title. I think he's a better pro than Johnny Manziel ever was. Let's see. Ryan by DQ, says boxing analyst. No, I think Devin by DQ could possibly happen, but I'm going to let that be True School Sports' prediction. I'm going to stick with Devin getting a stoppage later in the fight. But yeah, that's about it, man. I wanted to see the workout. I really wanted to see Devin. Because got to see Ryan in Dallas last week. I saw Devin a month ago not even a month ago, 3 weeks ago, when Tim Tszyu and Sebastian Fundora had their fight. They had Devin do a little workout in Vegas. But Devin's not showing a whole lot in workouts now. He's keeping a lot of stuff under wraps. But I'll be watching. All the channels that get it up, I'll be watching and seeing what Devin looks like. Marquez Underwood said, any chance this turns into a slugfest? Ryan might be in Haney's head with the push and all. It could turn into a slugfest if Ryan's doing what I suspect he's going to do in the first 2 to 3 rounds and come out guns blazing. And there is a chance that Devin meets fire with fire, because what I suspect Devin will do, should Ryan do what I think he's going to do in the first 2 or 3, is Devin's going to have to be patient and err on the side of caution, because Ryan is a puncher who is fast and is bringing in a lot of chaotic, unpredictable energy. So his best chance to win is catching Devin early. So the way a war breaks out, to your question, is Devin's really sitting down on the right hand from Jump Street, and Devin's trying to land the kind of shot that Tank landed in round 2 to slow Ryan's roll. That could be a miscalculation by Devin because he doesn't have Tank's power, or it could work beautifully. And in round 1, we're all got our mouth open agape because Devin has dropped Ryan on a right hand. And I feel very strongly about Devin's right hand heading into this fight. I just think that's going to be the punch that wins the fight for him. I mean, it's first is going to be the jab. The fact that he has a better jab than Ryan, that Ryan throws his jab at one speed and usually to one place, the head. And Devin will stab you to the body, work it up top. He'll throw it from the hip. He'll throw it from his midsection. He'll throw it from the high guard, and he'll throw it to the head or to the body. But inevitably, I feel like it's going to be the right hand. And so to your question, that's how a slugfest breaks out. Is Devin is trying to sit on his right hand early, not take his time behind the jab. He's trying to sit down on the same kind of brick hand that Tanks sat Ryan down with in the second round. But that could be a miscalculation for Devin. So I'm not sure he does that, but I think it's in play, especially when you hear Devin has guaranteed a stoppage for this fight, something he never does. He didn't even guarantee he'd stop Linares or Gamboa. He never really uses those words, but he guaranteed one for this fight. And I tend to believe him. Sean, do you think Devin will go for the KO if he hurts Ryan? He had a couple opportunities versus Prograis, but didn't go for it. No, he didn't go for it. And again, I said on Sean's, I said here, if he's in and out like he was in the Prograis fight, get off first, reset, make him fall short, his feet are too slow to catch up to you, he might have to settle for a decision, which isn't really what he wants. You don't want to go a decision with a Ryan who's acting more unstable and isn't undefeated, though he's stronger. He seems a much stronger heading into this fight than he did draining down to 36. but Tank got him when he was undefeated, and Tank got him when he was mentally seemed a little healthier heading into the fight. So Devin wants to equal Tank's knockout with his own knockout. So I do think he will go for a finish against Garcia, unless Garcia gets his respect and hurts him in a way early in the fight that makes Devin reconsider things and say, I just got to get out of here with a victory tonight. But even then, even if Ryan does hurt him early, I think that'll piss Devin off a little bit, and he'll have to be very cautious after a knockdown or after being hurt. But he'll try to make him pay for it later in the fight once he gains control of the fight. But I do think Devin will go for a stoppage in this fight, and if he doesn't, it will be a failure in that he couldn't equal Tank. So, and regardless of the outcome, Tank and Haney fans are going to argue after this fight. Tank fans are going to say that Tank knocked him out when he was fresh and undefeated and mentally well, and then Devin fans will say, you knocked him out when he was drained, which is true, and Devin knocked him out when he was strong. Ultimately, the excuses cancel themselves out, because you could go tit for tat. You could say weight drained, okay, but not mentally good. You could go in a circular argument about it. So it's really just going to come down to the results. Who did it better? Can Devin get a stoppage like Tank? How many rounds can he do it in, and in what fashion? So I do think it'll take 2 or 3 more rounds than it did Gervonta, but it might not, because Ryan may, what do they say, no diddy, may shoot his load, no diddy early on, even though I think that's an immature way of thinking. We have to be able as adults to get through sentences without thinking of things that, anyway, I'm in an airport. But yeah, nah, son, no diddy. Yeah, if he shoots his load early, then there may not be a whole lot, and Devin could get him out of there 3 or 4 rounds after that initial burst from Ryan. But you would think with Tank being the puncher he is, that it'll take Devin a little bit more accumulation, a few more rounds to get the stoppage. So let's see. Jalalov and Torres are levels above Jared Anderson. I don't see it that way. Jalalov is very good, but he kind of does one thing over and over again and does it extremely well. He uses his left hand, and he knows distance very well. But we still haven't really seen Jalalov have a great right hook, a great assortment of punches, inside fighting ability, a whole lot of slickness. It's just he's rangy and has a great left hand, knows how to use it great. But I'm not sold that he beats Jared Anderson, although we know Jared's got to stop pulling out with his chin up. Or else if he pulls out with his chin up, the Jalalov left hand could, to your point, put him down and send him home. But Jared can do a lot of things Jalalov doesn't do. Jared moves his upper body better. Jared can switch. Jared throws more of an assortment of punches, and he could fight on the inside. So, we'll have to see. Let's see. Will Beck the Bully make the impression? I don't know. I think, Beck's not fighting against some marquee opponent, and, the luster of Beck still has to be restored after getting knocked out by Rosado. He beat Rosado in a rematch, but it was kind of like when Joshua beat Ruiz in a rematch. You still remember the knockout better than the revenge. Jai C said, hi, Sean, love your content. Will you be at the fight? I will be at the fight. I will be at the fight. I was supposed to be at the workouts today, but I will be at the fight. I hope Devin doesn't get hit flush by Ryan. He might, man. He might have to survive a scary early moment in this fight. Very much possible. I wish Top Rank would make Jared or Jalalov fight someone with a pulse. They both got to step it up, says my man True School. I don't know, man. Maybe what's going on with Top Rank? I gotta do some digging there, because I wonder if there's smoke to Dana White buying Top Rank. It would make sense to me. If you're Dana White and Ari Emanuel with Endeavor, you got to be getting tired of, in their eyes, boxing is becoming a backdoor for their MMA fighters to get paid. So one way of solving that is to own a piece of the sport, own a piece of boxing. And it looks like their whole game plan, Ari Emanuel and Dana White, is to monopolize combat sports. They already got merged with WWE and UFC. So those are 2 out of 3. The next one is boxing. I always heard in the business they try to approach Al Heyman and PBC to try to purchase them essentially, and Heyman refused. Good for him, and that's real American businessman shit. And but there, we all heard the Rick Glazer smoke about Top Rank could be selling to Dana, and then Dana denied it. But Top Rank's contract is up next year, and they've noticeably pared down. Shakur Stevenson and Steve Tiafimo's lined up to fight Steve Claggart after fighting Jermaine Ortiz. Two kind of, especially Steve Claggart's underwhelming. Jermaine Ortiz was a solid fight, but not anything sexy. And so you got to wonder, Top Rank, who's not really putting on big events, they're putting on affordable shows. What's going on with them in the renewal? Aram is well into his 90s, and yeah, I don't want to get into that, but Aram's well into his. I was going to talk about his successor or the heir apparent situation, but that's a topic for another day. So maybe Dana White assumes control of Top Rank, and now they're one step closer to monopolizing combat sports. S. Carter, is your favorite rapper Tupac? It absolutely is. Yes. What's up, Caleb? Sean, you're a superstar now. I don't know. We only got about 130 people in here. I think we need more numbers to call me a superstar, but I do appreciate the sentiment for sure. You got fired from fight? No, did not get fired. Things ended nice and amicably. Shouldn't even respond to that, but I'm human. I'm like, no, I don't want anyone to think I got fired. But this would be the biggest upset in 20 years, says Boston's. Carson said, should you say war at the airport? No, probably not. Well, you just made me say it again, Carson. Carson, you need to come back on the show. I came back, but they want you back more than they wanted me. Let's see. Thank you, Nike Dinero. Tio was mad at Top Rank on Twitter the other day. Well, can you blame him? I mean, who wants to be matched with Steve Claggart? But ultimately, I'm going to be boarding in a minute. But ultimately, though, that was a miscalculation by Tio to think that the Lomachenko fight meant now I'm a superstar. It was a launching pad fight to make him a star. And him going to Triller, it all just kind of backfired, even though I understand he was telling Top Rank stop being cheap and all of that. But it backfired. But Chris Venegas, my boy Chris Venegas, asking, honest thoughts on Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. Will you be at that fight? The Katie Taylor-Amanda Serrano rematch almost gave me the finesse, the excuse to say, I'm still a real boxing journalist. I'm going to cover the Katie Taylor-Amanda Serrano rematch. I'm not covering the circus, but truthfully, the human side of me wants to go to make money, Chris, to get content for my channel. But then the journalist in me, the guy who did journalism and all that, kind of like I'm talking about with having mixed feelings of attending the Ryan fight earlier in the live is, Jake Paul, Mike Tyson is really just an indictment on the tastes and the culture of American society right now, which many have been arguing for the last few decades is declining. And that's a whole deep other topic. But yeah, I mean, I could honestly, if it wasn't about work and trying to make content for my channel, I could live without seeing the fight. I'm not that intrigued. I probably still would wind up seeing the fight. But if I do go, it's just me kind of selling out and trying to make money for my channel. But my real thoughts on Jake Paul, Mike Tyson is that Jake Paul is obviously some type of master mason guy. That's why he constantly wears the black and white in his profile picture in his robe. One glove's black, one's white. That's the duality of man and all that stuff. And those people, they use magic. And that's why Jay-Z wears the black magic and all that. I'm going Ryan Garcia, right? It's only appropriate. I'm about to go cover Ryan Garcia, so let me go Ryan Garcia for a minute. So he is a guy that is good at harvesting the energy of the masses, of the public, to enrich himself and make money. And magic is what? Smoke and mirrors. And that's what Jake Paul and Mike Tyson is. It's magic. It's smoke and mirrors. It's not a legitimate boxing prize fight. It's a show to harvest the energy, attention, and money of the masses who go for it. And us going for it is an indictment of our lack of attraction to real art, real sport, real high level consciousness, things that should draw us in and make us better and smarter, instead of, oh, Jake Paul, Mike Tyson, who's gonna win? And so yeah, Chris, I may in the end try to make money off of it as a hypocrite, but those are the thoughts that comes to mind, that comes to my heart when you ask me my real thoughts on Mike Tyson and Jake Paul. And then Mike Tyson is sad, man. The industry will trot you out there because they want to make money with the new star, with the new. So yeah, I suspect that they probably came to Floyd Mayweather multiple times to try to make him get in a ring with Jake Paul, and Floyd wouldn't budge. That I suspect that's probably part of why he went overseas. Says, I'm not going to fight Jake Paul one time for $100 million, but I'll fight 6 or 7 fights overseas and make it up like that. Do it my way, the way I'm comfortable with, and eventually this mega circus with Jake Paul against a mega name combat guy, it was going to happen one way or the other. Whether it was Floyd may have said no, that's just me speculating, totally hypothesizing. And then Conor McGregor, but Dana White, to my point earlier, doesn't want this boxing shit to keep backdooring his stars that he built in the UFC. So he has found a way to put his foot down and make sure Conor doesn't get in the ring with Jake Paul. So who's left? You go to the 60-year-old Mike Tyson, who, and that's what they're doing. They're trotting Mike out there with Jake to make us all like a bunch of fools and make a bunch of money off of it and harvest our energy. And there you go. There's my Ryan Garcia spiel on it. Jake Paul versus Caleb, sweet hands plant. Well, Caleb would box his ears off. Sean, can Eddie get boots to be 147 undisputed? Not mentioning Bud and Spence. Group 9 is boarding. Eddie would have to overpay Terrence Crawford a significant amount to make that fight happen. And if he doesn't, the other game plan is Conor Bennett 47 and then the WBA and IBF titleists at 154. But even if that game plan goes to according to plan, it might be a glorified version of what he pulled off with Devin Haney and Boo Boo Andrade, where they won fights and won a title, but weren't able to really move the needle as draws. So Eddie's got a tough decision to make, because if he were to overpay Terrence Crawford, there's absolutely zero guarantee that Boots actually wins the fight. He could lose by knockout. And then even if he does win, even though he's an amazing Roy Jones level talent, we don't know if he's a draw. Even Roy Jones wasn't an amazing draw. His biggest fight came against John Ruiz, moving up at heavyweight in his 30s. Maybe Turkey can have Terrence fight Boots in Saudi, and God bless you all.